Good afternoon. So the exciting news today, in my opinion, was the Trump-Putin summit. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. I watched. I didn't catch every single word. I wished I had. I know there was another news outlet. I don't know if this is true or not, saying that Putin had called for the arrest of George Soros. I don't know. I don't know if that's 100% accurate or not. Like I said, I didn't catch every word that was said. And in the very beginning of Putin speaking, as I recall, the audio on the source I was viewing didn't have the translator turned on. So you didn't catch the probably first, I don't know, maybe up to a minute or so, or I'm not sure of what Putin said. So anyway, I do have a rant today, and it has to do with not necessarily the summit itself, but backlash that has came from the summit. So I do want to talk about that a bit, and I know Jen has a rant for you today, so I'm going to get my stuff taken care of. I'll probably put a video up in between my monologue and her rant. That way it'll give me a chance to get up one video clip and then get ready to get up hers, which will help me with editing later. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started with this stuff. Oh, fun. YouTube, we're looking at $1.46. If we keep going any lower, we're going to be owing them. Let's see. Steemit, we are setting at 9.028 Steam and 4.069 Steam. So that is where we're setting at Steam, and then I believe it said 4 days this will become redeemable. So that's where we are setting with Steam. Google AdSense, nothing today so far. This week we got 642 for a total. We're at 1296, and of course that will be added over to the balance at the 1st or 2nd of next month. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and get through the Twitter news, and we'll have our little talk about this. Trump says ties with Russia have never been worse due to years of U.S. foolishness. Now, mind you, I believe when I tweeted this out, this would have been before the summit, or, it could have been right when he got there. I don't know. German foreign minister, we can no longer completely rely on the White House. Harvard Humanitarian Initiative faces backlash for Teresa Lund viral video. So let's see. Apparently, let me go ahead and open this up and talk about it too. Let me go ahead and do this article. Harvard Humanitarian Initiative is facing backlash after their executive director, Teresa Lund, went viral for harassing a mother and her daughter on Saturday afternoon. Allison, and I don't know, Lalibierte, I'm not sure how that's said, uploaded the video to her Facebook Saturday evening. Lund was upset that Lalibierte and her 3-year-old daughter were outside playing with chalk Saturday afternoon. Since the video went viral, Lund has deleted her social media accounts. The Harvard Humanitarian Initiative is facing backlash after their executive director, Teresa Lund, went viral for harassing a mother and her 3-year-old daughter while drawing with chalk outside their apartment on Saturday afternoon. The viral video was posted to Allison Laliberte's Facebook page on Saturday evening. Lala Berte uploaded a video which has already had over 600,000 views and a picture of Lund. The caption with the video reads as follows. Y'all, here is another permit Patty trying to kick me off my own property because she's having a hard time getting her kids to take a nap at 3:30 in the afternoon on a Saturday. I'm outside enjoying the afternoon with my daughter when this woman came downstairs and asked me if I would move so her kids can nap. Mind you, it's midday, and we weren't even being loud at all, drawing with chalk. She followed me around and harassed me while trying to get my information and my apartment number as if she had a right to know. When I wouldn't tell her, she proceeded to ask me if I lived in the affordable apartments of the building for Cambridge residents or if I lived in one of the Harvard-owned apartments, which is all the same building anyways. It was totally discriminating and racist of her, or maybe it was because of my daughter is biracial. Who knows? Who knows? I have no idea who this woman is, and the fact that she thinks she has some kind of authority over me is crazy. She wanted to know what apartment number I lived at so she can yell outside my window to see if I like it. Real mature, as you hear her say in the video. This woman's house is no bigger than mine, even if she lives in one of the apartments that are owned by Harvard. Despite color, where I live, how much money I have, she will be buried 6 feet under just like me. Why do people think they are literally better than others? Why does she think she has a right to make us move? If she did not want to be disturbed, she would own a one-family house instead of deciding on moving into a condominium with a bunch of neighbors. I've lived in this complex for 15 years. Not one other person complained about my daughter and I. I have no idea who this woman is, but if someone knows her, please tag her and share this if you agree. So apparently that's what she said. I don't know. I actually hadn't seen the video. I'll click and play it. Maybe I'll click and play it. I don't know if it... Oh, it's probably just a picture. That's right. Because I think it said the account has been deleted and everything. So, but yeah, it's a shame. It really, really, it really is a shame. Okay, let's go ahead and get back to the other news. Why can't people just leave people the hell alone? Putin and Trump speak to press following talks in Helsinki. Anal prank gone wrong. Man arrested for killing co-worker in bizarre workplace accident / prank. Yeah, I kid you wrong, or not, something like that. He was playing around with an air hose and compressed air, and I guess shot compressed air up the buttocks area of his quote-unquote friend and co-worker. I'm sure it was his friend. I'm sure he didn't intend for this to happen, but it did. And it's sad. It is incredibly sad for something like that to happen. At the same time, it's as crazy as it gets. Apparently, from reading the article, this is not a lone incident. There has been several of these incidents happen. I think this was in Japan that this happened. Japanese man. And there has been several of these incidents happen to where compressed air one way or another gets blown up the buttocks of another man, or of a man, and the man succumbs to his injuries as a result. But as I said, moral to the story, don't blow smoke or air up others' butts. It could cost lives. And I think that does sum that up pretty well. This is what I'm going to be throwing a fit about here. Ex-CIA chief and U.S. officials slam Trump Putin presser as treason and weakness. But since then, I did tweet out the NYPD to Department of Justice. We're proceeding forward with disciplinary actions against officers involved in the death of Eric Garner. So that is insanely important. Insanely important. Let me go ahead and open this up here, and I'll read it and comment as I see fit, or throw a fit as I see comments. One of the two. The U.S. president and his Russian counterpart met in Helsinki to discuss a wide array of issues, including bilateral relations between the two countries, their cooperation in Syria, and alleged Russian meddling in 2016 U.S. presidential election. Former CIA Director John Brennan moron, slammed U.S. President Trump's performance during the press conference after his meeting with Putin in Helsinki as treasonous on his Twitter. Yeah, treasonous. He also claimed that Trump is in the pocket of Russian President Vladimir Putin and said that he exceeded the threshold of high crimes and misdemeanors. Well, you know what? I agree. Trump has small hands, and it's kind of peculiar small hands. They're kind of, it's definitely noticeable. But I still don't think he could actually fit in Putin's pocket, even though Putin does look like he could be pretty... Never mind. Anyway. He also expressed skepticism as to why the two presidents discussed matters in private, stating that Trump lacks credibility and is probably hiding something from his advisors. Now, I had said something, and I kid you not, Jen can vouch for me. I said something to Jen earlier, before the press conference even came on. And I think I read something somewhere that he had asked. Didn't I read something somewhere that he had asked? Or he had said something about wanting a moment with Putin without others. I think that came my way somehow. And, or maybe it was just a thought I had. I don't know. But I remember telling Jen that, that's what's needed. What is needed, if Trump is for real, and if Putin's for real, what was needed was a moment that the two could speak, that they didn't have to worry about anybody else, just those two, right? Because you're talking about two of the major superpowers of the planet, okay? And let me just throw this at you, okay? Because I've been watching everything that I can as closely as I possibly can, and I'm paying close attention to a few key details. Because what we've got going on, folks, is a global issue. Okay, what we have going on is not something that's limited to the United States of America. So you can chant "Make America Great Again" and all that, and it ain't going to do a damn thing. You have to go after those global interests, and you have to cut off those global interests. You have to get rid of them. There's no other way. But these global interests are what control things like NATO and the United Nations, World Health Organization, okay? All these international organizations, okay, which have the ability to call up war. Essentially, they do. They could, the United Nations could put in for a call for war against the United States, and if I'm not mistaken, countries would go together for a vote. They would vote. If that vote came out that they wanted war with the United States, guess what? Okay, that's as far as I know how it's supposed to be. But anyway, back to my point. Undoing what has been done on that international level, on that global level, is not a small task, not a small feat. It's absolutely huge. And you can bet your butt that there will be 9 kinds of hell coming when they attempt to take down that global interest, or even not take down, but even disconnect that global interest. Now, I'm not saying that is what I'm seeing happen, but I will give you a little bit more insight on what I've seen with my own eyes and felt in my own intuition when I watched that today. And then I'll continue reading. But when I watched Trump and Putin sit down for their presser, neither man looked very happy at all. In fact, both men looked like they were ready to kick some serious ass. Both of them did. But not each other's. Not each other's. And when they first sat down, you know, those initial facial expressions, and Trump's looking off one direction, Putin's looking off another direction, and both of them have gears turning 1,000,000 miles a minute. Something is up. Something is up. Now, while I will say that that's something that is up, I think it's something that is great for the Constitution-loving Americans and for the constitutional Republic of the United States. I'm going to tell you, you better get ready, and you better damn well do it quick. Better damn well do it quick, because pay attention to what I was saying. Right? Whatever you want to call them. Deep state. I don't know. Whatever you want to call them. Slap a name on them. It doesn't matter. They're not just going to walk away and just hand over control. They're not going to. I think that's what you're seeing here. Let me continue, because you're going to see one of the wormiest worms squirm up out of the woodwork here. One of the biggest scumbags that the United States government could know. Brennan also called on Trump's team to resign in protest against his performance in Helsinki on July 16, saying that no good American patriot would stay with Trump after that. Kind of like the walkaway movement that's going the other direction, doesn't it? There we go. Here's a scumbag like no other. A number of other U.S. officials have also scolded the U.S. president's press conference in Helsinki. U.S. scumbag John McCain added to the wave of accusations that Trump's performance at the press conference with Putin was a tragic mistake. He also slammed the U.S. president for failing to defend America. Now, why would that be ironic? Why would John McCain accusing Trump of failing to defend America? Now, why would that be ironic? I don't know. Might have to ask the little bird that sings. I don't know. Former U.S. Ambassador to Moscow, Michael McFaul, a strong Kremlin critic, banned from Russia over harming bilateral ties, mocked Trump's statements in which he said that the U.S. had been to blame for deteriorating relations between America and Russia. McFaul suggested that Trump should have blamed Moscow instead. Democrat Senator Jeff Merkley suggested in an interview with BuzzFeed News that Moscow is likely to have compromising material on Trump, claiming that it's a standard strategy of Russia for important visitors to the country. He further speculated that Moscow might have been so-called P-tape, allegedly depicting Trump ordering two prostitutes to urinate on a bed at the Moscow Ritz-Carlton, where Obama's family once stayed. U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham slammed Trump's speech at the press conference by saying that it was a missed opportunity to hold Russia accountable for the alleged meddling in the 2016 election. He further claimed that the speech will be seen as a sign of weakness in Kremlin, going on to suggest that Trump should check the soccer ball that Putin gave him during the conference to see if it is wired. See, these people, from where I stand, look like they are running in fear. That's what I see. I see rats just scurrying. Because that's why I've always asked the question, and you guys heard me ask the question time and time and time again. Is Russia just part of the world stage, or is Russia for real? Because you see, that was such an important thing. When you're going up against these global interests, you damn well better to be able to put up against them. And any single country, superpower or not, isn't going to be able to make that happen. And we've got to understand that we've watched false flag after false flag after false flag. Okay? So that's all it would take abroad somewhere else would be a false flag that got blamed on us. Or whatever, it's a scenario. Let's see. U.S. Republican Senator Bob Corker said in a comment regarding the Helsinki summit that he wants the U.S. to improve relations with Russia, but added that Trump should have been more forceful when he addressed issues with Putin. U.S. House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi criticized Trump for not confronting Putin in regards to the alleged Russian meddling in the presidential campaign or election days after the Justice Department accused 12 Russian intelligence officers of involvement in the interference. Now, mind you, I heard him in part of the conference speaking about the possibility, I guess, for, I don't know, the DOJ or the FBI or something like that, to be able to actually speak to some of these counterparts. So for anybody to say that he didn't address it or it's not something that was discussed, I think they're messed up in the head. I think what it is when it comes to that particular point is it was a nothing burger from the beginning. It's still a nothing burger. And the last thing that the left wants is for Russia to put forth these people that the U.S. or members of U.S. agencies has accused of crimes to be able to let these men speak, because it's probably going to turn out on their own accounts as a nothing burger. And guess what? What was that? I seen $22 million or something like that for a nothing burger. And that was just for, I guess, these 12 individuals. I'm not talking about the whole bill, of course. U.S. President Donald Trump and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin met in Helsinki on July 16th and discussed an array of international issues, including the country's bilateral relations. The two presidents called the meeting highly successful and productive, saying that it was just the first step. Trump and Putin agreed to enhance their cooperation in Syria, particularly regarding the delivery of humanitarian aid and securing the Israeli-Syrian border. Both presidents also pledged to continue the ongoing cooperation between their armed forces in Syria and on preventing terrorist attacks. So, let's see, I'll go ahead and finish up the article here. The two leaders also discussed the alleged Russian meddling in the U.S. presidential elections. During the press conference, Putin assured that Moscow had not colluded with Trump's election campaign and would never intervene in the U.S. electoral process. Trump said that Russia had zero reasons to meddle in the elections and said that his victory was due to his brilliant campaign. The U.S. president also scolded the Democratic Party and Hillary Clinton for fueling Special Counsel Mueller's investigation into the alleged meddling, saying that it has negatively affected U.S.-Russian relations. Well, I think that's a bit of passing a small part of the buck. Um, there's been tons, that I would have to address on that particular statement, like, the continuing sanctions and accusations and all that against Russia. Let's see what happens. Let's pay close attention. But, especially when it comes to Trump and Putin, and keep an eye out. Keep an eye out for that collusion, because it'll sneak up on you. No, keep a close eye on that stuff. But I'm telling you, although this would be something great for both Americans and Russians, this is not something great for those that want to retain control. So that's why I say, folks, we've got good things happening. We've got amazingly good things happening. But let's not just say, oh, well, everything is good, because it's not. You're talking about people that have control to do things unfathomable. I mean, they are the ones that are funding all of this tech that goes into weaponry that we won't know about if we exist as humanity. We wouldn't know about in 50 years. They're the ones that is funding these weapons. It's insane. And I'm not saying that, our individual, let's say a scenario is our countries take their countries back, so to speak. Okay, Russia has nothing to do with any type of world banks or anything like that, world corporations or anything. It cut all ties internationally in that realm. And we did the same. Okay? I don't think that they would wipe out the world, take out the earth. I don't think that is something they would do. But I do think that they would resort to taking a grid down. I don't think they're beyond that whatsoever. I just don't. And that is what I'm fearful of. Now, they're going to blame it on another country or terrorists or hackers, but I think, in my opinion, I think that when that time comes, what it will truly be is what the powers that be would deem as the point of no return. So keep your eyes and ears open. That's all I can tell folks. It's things are looking up in some aspects, but at the same time, we better be more than prepared, because we're in a tough spot here, folks. We're in a really tough spot. All right, I am going to close up the monologue, and for those that just watched the monologue, I want to say thank you. As always, God bless you all. We love you all, and be one with your spirit.